This is TWiT. Do you own the new 2018 eighth generation? What generation iPad is it now? Sixth
generation. Yes. My review went up yesterday morning.
Tell me about it.
It's really good. I mean, last year the argument was that it was the best tablet for the price, and that's sort of damning with faint praise because no other company has really done much in the pure play tablet space recently. Google's getting into it with Chrome. We'll see what happens, but it's a really good value. And what they've done is they've kept it essentially the same, but they've made two small and two large changes. One is the LTE is now twice as fast if you want that option. Also, the gold is kind of blushy, rosy, coppery gold now, which means that either you love it or you can't match your other gold products. So either way. But the two big changes, one is it's gone to the A10 processor, the A10 Fusion, and that has the high efficiency cores and the high performance cores, and it's about 1.5 times faster. And especially on the low demand hardware that is the iPad, it just flies. It's silly fast. And they've added Apple Pencil support, so that now previously if you wanted to get an Apple Pencil, you had to buy an iPad Pro. So my takeaway from the review was you're literally getting half the Pro for just about half the price. You don't get the smart connector, you don't get the fancy display, you don't get a bunch of the bells and whistles, the 4-speaker system, but you get a really good entry-level tablet with a really good pencil experience. And Logitech is going to make a crayon for education that has the same pencil technology, just no pressure sensitivity, for $50, and a very easy way for teachers to just throw them out there and not care who's pairing with which one. So
one complaint,
it's super interesting.
Or one thing, not a complaint, but one thing people mentioned is that because the screen isn't, what is it, laminated like the iPad?
It's not laminated. It's like the original iPad Air, and it bothers me a lot. But I gave it to like a bunch of my friends. I gave it to my godkids actually are in the video review talking about it. They don't notice. It drives me crazy, but they.
So that's so funny. You can see it.
It makes my eyes bleed. Well, no, like I can see it because I'm used to Wacom and I'm used to air gaps and I'm used to like I can see the difference in glare. But my mom for a long time went from an iPad 2 to an iPad Pro and back, and she was just like whichever one is charged at the time.
Right.
And my godsons in the video, they're like, which one is iPad Pro? Oh, I know. Wait a minute. Is it this one? Is it that?
The resolution is the same, right?
Yeah, the screen size is a bit smaller.
It's that there's can you see a gap between the glass and the screen or what?
It's a little bit more reflective. It's almost like the best analogy I can give it. It's like old school cell animation where the paint is on the bottom of the glass rather than being inside the glass, which is what we're used to with laminated displays.
It doesn't do anything for me either. How about with the pencil? Some people have said that, well, you said that when you see video of the pencil, you're going to see more lag, even though that's not what you see in real life.
No, I mean, the pencil is the same pencil system as the 9.7-inch iPad Pro, and it feels about the same as drawing on the original iPad Pro. There is the air gap, which, I used Wacom for years, and it had an air gap, and it didn't bother me until I started using the iPad Pro. And then I'm like, woohoo, no air gap, no ridicule, not all of these things. So I don't like it as much, but again, other people who aren't as fussy as me don't care. And it doesn't have a ProMotion display, so it doesn't ramp up to 120 hertz. So you don't get the absolute close to zero latency. But it's as good as the iPad Pro was before last June,
right?
Which is remarkable for a $329 tablet.
And most people wouldn't notice the difference, probably.
No. I mean, it kills me that they don't.
One benefit, iFixit mentioned this, and Scooter X has reminded me in the chat room that it does mean you can separate the digitizer from the display and fix. Yeah. One or the other, so it makes it actually improves repairability.
Yeah,
not laminating them. You don't have to replace the whole thing at once. So, what did your nephews think about the overall experience? They seem to be very happy in this video.
They loved it. I mean, they have Chromebooks at school, and they were like, all of this is off the cuff. I didn't ask them to say anything. I told them to be as critical as they wanted, and they're like, "Oh my God, my Chromebooks are so slow, and this thing just flies." When I draw on a Chromebook, it takes like 3 seconds for the line. They exaggerate because they're kids. Like it takes 10 seconds to boot up an app. It takes 3 seconds to draw a line, and they really liked it, and they love the ability in iWork. Like they just go, wait a minute, you don't just draw on it. You can draw like on top of your text, and it stays anchored to your text. And they started making all these stories immediately.
I do like that feature. That's really kind of cool. And you didn't know you were missing it until you got it, and then you went, "Oh!"
And it's like obvious in hindsight, right?
Yeah, I never even thought of it. But that's cool. It goes with the annotation. Goes with the text.
Yeah.
So who should buy this iPad? This new iPad. Who is this for?
I mean, it's for people who've been waiting to upgrade from the iPad 2 or the iPad, because that was a hugely popular tablet, the original iPad Airs. If you have an iPad Air 2, you might see the gap, the air gap. I don't know if it'll bother you. Not most people, it won't. If you've been really wanting an iPad Pro, like just to use Apple Pencil, but you didn't want to spend iPad Pro money, you get almost the same experience here for literally half the cash.